Hi everyone, I'm back. This is Professor Couture, and this is the second half of the syllabus course expectations and policies video. I'm starting on page 19 of our syllabus. As you can see here, let's see from the screenshot, the final grading scale is as published in um, the Curry College catalog, sorry about that, and you will notice that there is an automatic rounding up for any grade that is at a 0.5 or above. It rounds up to the next grade. If it's below a 0.5, it remains at the lower scale as described here in the description of how the gradebook is set up in the college policy. Disability accommodations are really important. I strongly encourage every student who's eligible to take advantage of those accommodations. To do so, obviously, you need to be in touch with the Disability Services Office. For those of you who are in the PAL program, there should be plenty of instructions, support, guidance on how to activate those accommodations. And I look forward to working with all of you who are part of both the PAL program and disability accommodations in general. Moving on to other course expectations, requirements, and policies. The first one is due dates. There is an expectation that you will meet the deadlines as they've been as they've been established in the syllabus. Deadlines are important. It's an important life skill. If your bills are due on a certain day and you don't pay them, there are consequences. Likewise, in terms of professional development and career readiness, deadlines apply, and supervisors expect us to meet those deadlines unless there are some extenuating circumstances, and those extenuating circumstances are not often, but sometimes granted under truly extenuating but not ongoing circumstances. All of your course connection activities, your homework, your graded case exercises, and your exams are due as noted on the course syllabus. I'm going to pull us there right now. So the course schedule starts on page 25 of the syllabus, or is also available to you as an independent document. You will note that there is an explanation of what's expected of you to come ready and willing and able to participate in class, each class. Any graded any graded items are noted in the far right-hand column of the course schedule based upon the due date, therefore looking at, for example, February 11th. There's an explanation of what you need to read, what you need to view, video view, and if I'm asking you to view a portion thereof or segments thereof, the stop and the starts are provided. If you have homework due, as that is the case on February 11th, the homework is noted in the far right column. It is due on the date in which matches it in the left-hand column. So for February 11th, okay, I'm back. Let's see. So in the syllabus, in the part of the syllabus which is called the course schedule, you can see for each class day what we are going to cover. Also for exams, you will see that some exams, most of the exams are actually due several days after the last class on which we covered the material. Therefore, exam number 1 will finish on Thursday, February 13th, but you will have until February 14th, I'm sorry, is it 9, 11. I'm sorry. We'll finish on the 11th. You'll have until the 14th to submit the exam. Moving forward, you'll see again, there are each class period indicates what you need to do, which is carefully read the assigned textbook material. So for February 16th, that would be pages 38 to 50 in Chapter 1. What you need to view, which is these 2 short video clips. Anything that is being graded would be noted for that day, in this instance, February 16th. And it's homework 4 and homework 5. There is posted up on, I will mention and I will show you the specific instructions of where to find the homework and how to prepare it and how to submit it. So deadlines are important. Certainly, as I've mentioned, a career readiness skill is meeting deadlines unless there are truly extenuating circumstances. And in the workplace, those extenuating circumstances are not expected to arise on a regular basis. They are truly emergency situations or extenuating, not commonplace. The policy in this course with regard to exams is if you miss an exam, you have the possibility, not the guarantee, of making it up within 72 hours of the scheduled date. You must notify me by email immediately with a reason for missing the exam and arrange a makeup date to be scheduled. And absent a documented an emergency, which I'll describe shortly, the exam would be necessary in order to get credit for the exam to make it up within 72 hours of when the original exam was scheduled. Therefore, by way of example, if an exam were scheduled for Tuesday, February 12th, a makeup exam would be possible if arrangements were made in a timely fashion, but that exam would have to take place no later than Friday, February 15th, which would be 72 hours within the original due date. Course connection and class connection activity or graded case exercises can be submitted only within 72 hours and of the due date and time, and that includes weekends as well as business days. The maximum that can be earned on a late submission of a course connection activity or graded case exercise is 75%. And that's really just to recognize as a matter of fairness to those students who overcame whatever obstacles and made the arrangements, had successfully organized themselves and managed their time sufficiently to get it in on time. It would be unfair to them to not have some consequence for those of us who, for whatever reasons, short of an emergency, truly an emergency, were unable to submit the work when it was due. For purposes of clarification, when I say the word emergency, that means you're hospitalized, and I hope that will never happen, but that would be an emergency. Having to go to the emergency room for a strep test or some other test because you're not feeling well is not an emergency. That happens. I understand that it happens, but you are expected to, unless you're hospitalized or there is, heaven forbid, the loss of a loved one in your family, those are the exceptions that constitute an emergency. And it has to be documented. And again, the rationale for this policy is that it's only a matter of fairness to other students who do struggle with the same issues of not having enough time to get everything done when it is due, having to manage all the components of their lives, personal academic, perhaps working, many times working. They may also have family obligations. They have certainly friends and relationships. And so managing all of that is part of what being in college is about, managing the competing demands on our time and our energy and our resources. And therefore, an exception to a deadline is truly that. It's an exception, not an expectation. So if you do find yourself in extenuating circumstances with a documented emergency, please do reach out to me, and you'll find me to be fair and reasonable, open and honest and flexible, consistent with the policies that are stated here. Please note that homework is not eligible for any extension of time. There is a provision is stated in the syllabus. Only the top 80% of your homework grades count. Therefore, up to 20% of homework assignments that may earn a poor grade or even a 0 grade are not calculated in your final grade. That will not happen in the midterm grade, but it will happen in the final grade. But there is no late policy for homework. If there are there is no extra credit in this course. Extra credit means I've done all my work, and I've done it on time, and I've done it to my best of ability, but I want to have an opportunity to demonstrate yet further good quality work on time and to the best of my ability. Most often, in my experience, students ask for extra credit when they have either not submitted work, not submitted their best work, or something along those lines, which if there's not enough time to do the work when it's due, to the degree in which you're capable of doing it, providing extra credit work really doesn't make sense. And for that reason, I do not ever allow extra credit work. If there are special circumstances that you think I need to be aware of and take into account in terms of the expectations, the policies, the procedures in this class, please call that to my attention. You will find me, as I've already said, reasonable, fair, and accessible and flexible within reason. So give me a chance if there's really something going on that you think that you believe warrants my consideration. It's up to you to call it to my attention, and I promise you that I will take under consideration any information that you provide in that regard. Required materials in this class are either a computer or tablet, if you have one, a calendar or an appointment book, whether it's digital or paper, and a printed or electronic copy of the textbook chapter we are currently working on. The textbook, as you have already seen, no doubt, is available. Each chapter is posted in the chapter module on Canvas that corresponds with the chapter of the textbook. Also required for each class meeting is any homework, case exercises, and sometimes they're both, which are due on that for that class period. Please make sure that you look at the syllabus and have a good understanding of what is attendance, participation, and homework, what that means. Showing up is not going to be what you were graded on, but because you are expected to attend all of your classes, again, absent some extenuating circumstances, that again mirrors career readiness. We are expected in the workplace to come to work, ready to work, when scheduled, on time, and to stay for the period and the duration of our commitment to that process. There are exceptions, and again, those are under extraordinary or exceptional circumstances. Please also make sure that in the syllabus you look at the homework and graded case exercise requirements and the guidelines and expectations, which I will take you to right now. So attendance, participation in homework is worth 10% of your grade. Coming to class or showing up at class is expected. Therefore, you don't get credit simply for attending class, although you do lose credit for not attending class. Attendance plus preparation and readiness is what I'm grading you on. Your readiness to actively participate in the class is based on completing the homework for the day. And that's what's graded, is the homework. So I do take attendance. You'll see there's an attendance grade. The attendance grade is simply whether you're there or you're not. If you're late, that was covered in the last video and is covered earlier in the syllabus. Please avail yourself of that information so that you know what you need to do if you are late to class, whether virtual or in person. I explain here what the purpose of the homework is. As I've already covered in this video, it is noted in the right-hand column that corresponds with the day that it is due. It is red italicized typeface. You are encouraged, you are welcome, but not required to work with others in your group or team, as those have been already assigned. You may or may not choose to do that. You can work as a whole group, you can work as subgroups, you can work with one other person in the group. That's fine. If you choose to do homework individually, that's also fine. You don't have to, it's not an all or nothing. You do not need to choose, yes, I'm going to do all my homework individually, or I'm going to do all my homework with 2 other people in my group. You can make that election on a homework by homework basis. But when you do homework as a group, you must, I'll cover that in a minute. Where do you find your homework? The homework and case exercise homework and all of the homework assignments are located in Canvas in the chapter module for which the chapter homework is assigned in the homework folder. And therefore, please go to Canvas. In Chapter 1, you will see that there is a section in Chapter 1 that says homework. There's many homework assignments that are due, and the assignments are linked right there in Chapter 1. The same is true in Chapter 2. You'll see there are homework assignments due. You link to that homework assignment, you complete it, you submit it using that link in the homework section of each chapter in which the homework is due. How do you complete homework? Some homework will require you to complete the entire assignment, either individually or in a small group with members in your group. For example, homework number 1, there was, here are the instructions, which was to develop at least 2 questions from the readings, videos, and discussions for the first part of the reading that you did in Chapter 1. Those of you who, everyone chose to do that, in this class at least, to do that individually. You could have done that collectively. Many homework assignments include several different problem sets or problems within case exercises which have been assigned for homework. They can, again, these homework case exercises can be answered either individually, if you choose, or in a small group, or with all the members of your group. So for example, case exercise 4, which is the 11th homework, which I believe is due in Chapter 2, has, excuse me, case exercise number 4 has 8 different problems. When you open that case exercise, you will see when you open that case exercise homework assignment in Chapter 2, you will see the instructions say, we are going to do in class a practice, which is problem 1. Then anyone who's in Team A, if you working individually or collectively with one or more people in your group, you're responsible for problem 2 and problem 7. If you're in Team B, you're responsible for problem 3 and problem 7. If you are in Team C, again, working individually or with one or more people in your group, you're responsible for the case exercise problem 4 and problem 7. Team D, you're responsible for problem 5 and problem 8. Team E is responsible for problem 6 and problem 8. So as you can see, although case exercise number 4 has 8 problems, one of those problems we're going to do in class together, and the remaining problems have been allocated and distributed to individuals or groups, depending upon which way you decide to approach it. And each individual or group has no more than 2 of those 8 problems. Homework requirements must be word processed and submitted in a Word document. Excuse me, either a DOC or a DOCX if you're in an upgraded Word format, a PDF or an RTF format. Unless otherwise instructed, there are some homework and other graded assignments that require you to take a screenshot and submit a JPEG or a Word document with a screenshot in it. If your homework is not a case exercise, make sure that you include your name or the names of the group who prepared the homework and the homework number listed at the top of the page. Remember, homework must be word processed. It must be submitted in one of the accepted formats. Working in Word, working in PDF format is fine. Other formats that students have on their computer cannot be opened in Canvas, and therefore you need to save it as a Word document or a PDF. Homework, unless it's a case exercise, is in question and answer format. So you open the homework, you can save the homework, answer the question so that you don't have to retype each question, and provide your answers in response thereto. Please make sure that if you are working in a group, whether in a group with one other person, 2, 3, 4, or 5 other people, that if you are submitting one assignment, if you work together and you are sharing your information and your answers, one assignment is to be submitted by the group. Again, it may be 2 people in a group, 3, 4, 5, or 6 people in a group. Make sure all names are listed on the first page. The homework assignment is listed, and you use the assignment link. Homework is due no later than the due date, typically at 9:30 in the morning. The reason is the homework is to get you ready to actively participate in class. If you have not done the homework, you probably are not ready to actively participate in class. There are homework and case exercise requirements that you need to be aware of. The case exercise instructions will give you directions to follow. Most of those involve completing a worksheet, and I will go over that in class. So you'll have some experience, hands-on experience, working with the worksheet, understanding how to prepare your answers to the case exercises that were assigned as homework and completed using a worksheet. Those worksheets have been developed to help you learn to take the law as it's given to you in the textbook, apply it to a set of facts, and in so doing, this is where many of you have expressed concern about not being able to memorize information. You don't need to memorize any information in this class. What you do need to do is to read with understanding and know where to look to find the answers, to be able to successfully complete the case exercises, which make up the bulk of the homework starting in Chapter 2. All case exercise worksheets are on Canvas in the module which is entitled Case Exercise Instructions, Worksheets, and Model Answers. I will go over this in class. I'll point out where you can find this information, and we'll do some practice exercises in class before your case exercise homework is due. Please note that also within that same module, Case Exercise Instructions, Worksheets, Model Answers, there are model answers to a number of case exercises, and they are provided to do just that, provide you a model or something, a template, a model to demonstrate what we're looking for or looking to achieve over the course of this semester in terms of preparation of case exercises. A reminder, you are required to bring either a print or an electronic copy of the textbook chapter we are working on and a print or electronic copy of the case exercises or other work that was assigned for that class as shown in the course schedule. I really recommend strongly that you print out a paper copy of the homework assignment the case exercises that are assigned for homework so that you can take notes on those in class while you're working on your computer, either on Zoom watching the class or looking at the PowerPoints or looking at model answers to those questions. Please understand that homework, particularly that homework with graded that includes case exercises, and certainly those items that are separately graded in their own category is graded case exercises worth 40 or 45% of your grade. They take time, attention to detail, and practice. It doesn't happen quick, it doesn't happen easy, but really profound learning will occur if you put in the time and the effort and use the materials that I provide to you. Each case exercise, whether it's for homework or it is graded independently, meaning it's heavily weighted. You have 4 graded case exercises in this class. Each one, and I believe they're worth 40% of your grade. That means one whole letter grade of your final grade in this course rides on each one of those graded case exercises. The good news is we're going to spend time together learning how to do them, and lots of practice through homework and in class. To repeat, there are model case exercise answers available to you in the Canvas website in the case exercise worksheet model answer grading rubrics module. I'll call those to your attention when we're working on them in class. You really need to understand that to do case exercises is going to take time and effort. You must carefully read and understand the relevant textbook material before you do either the homework case exercises or the independently graded case exercises. Those case exercises, are, at least in the homework situation, always follow the material that you are expected to work with, get a hold of, and be able to apply to do the case exercises. You, as mentioned, will be completing a worksheet most probably in case exercises for homework, certainly for case exercises which were assigned as independently graded. Your grading, there is a grading rubric. I will show that to you so that you have a sense of, a clearer sense of how I grade. But for clarity purposes, I'm looking for clear, accurate, precise, deep, and broad answers. Clear. If I can't understand what you wrote, it's not clear. I can't give you credit for something I can't understand. Accurate. If you provide an answer or information in a case exercise that is contrary to the information in the textbook, it's not accurate. Precise means with the level of sufficient detail. Deep means you cover all the answers. You don't skip questions. You cover all the questions in sufficient detail. And then not most importantly, but as importantly, when you take a position, you're going to practice on supporting your position. If you say, yes, I think this is a homicide, I think it's a criminal homicide, I think it's murder, you're going to have to explain, based upon the information available to you in the textbook and applying that information to the facts in the case exercise, why you think it's murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree, felony murder, whether you think it's manslaughter, whichever type of manslaughter, voluntary or involuntary. Okay. Exams. Your exams are worth 45% of your grade. There are 6 exams, including the final exam. They cover 1 or more chapters. The lectures, the case exercises, class discussions, and activities. The final exam will be concentrating on chapters 8, 9, and 10 in the textbook, but it will also be cumulative and reach back to some of our earlier work. The exams, I'll point out to you where they are. They are in the But for you to know, all the exams are located in the left-hand navigation bar under the quiz tab. You'll take the exams online, and I encourage you to be in a reduced distraction environment. Make sure that you're ready to take the exam. The exams will be timed. The multiple choice questions on an exam are timed for 1.5 minutes, which is a universal designed approach. That's 1.5 times the usual 1 minute, or sometimes less than 1 minute. This has proven to be adequate amount of time for students who are not receiving extended time through accommodations. What it won't be enough time to do is to try and search through the textbook to find the answers to questions or application. Exams may also include other types of questions, which may include short answers, and I will explain that for each exam. I'll also give you a study guide for each exam so that you'll know what will be covered on the exam. If you do have testing accommodations, please make sure that you have everything ready to go so that I can make sure that the Canvas exam site is set for you and that you can proceed without any problems. Can you consult with other students? Confer with them or share answers on the exam? Unlike homework, the answer is no. Exams are to be completed without consultation with other students. This is based on an honor system of personal and professional ethics and responsibility. As stated in the syllabus, there will be times in your career, many times, probably every day, when you'll have a choice. You'll have the privilege of exercising discretion, a choice of whether to do the right thing or the wrong thing, to follow the rules, the law, the policies, the instructions of your supervisors, whatever it may be. Consider this good practice. You are on the honor system. That being said, if I do discover reasonable grounds to believe that there has been a violation of the Academic Honor Code and you have conferred with other students contrary to the policy stated here, I take that as a very serious matter. Okay, moving on. Attendance policy. I'll take attendance every class. Attendance, an absence is if you arrive after I take attendance. There are lots of reasons why you might arrive to class late, whether in person or remotely. However, once I take attendance, I'm done taking attendance. And if you want it changed to a tardy, because you arrived late for whatever the reason was, you need to let me know the reason why, and that's all explained here. So if you speak to me after class has ended, that's not enough. You need to send me an email requesting that an absence, meaning I marked you absent. You were not present either remotely or in the room when I took attendance. If you arrived late and you want credit for coming late, you need to follow, please, the instructions that are clearly given here. It's your responsibility to do that. And if you don't do that, it's going to stay at an absence, which is a 0 for that class. Excessive absences. This is a class that meets 2 times per week, which means if you are absent, your 4th absence would be the equivalent of 2 out of 14 weeks of absences. Do you know what percentage that is? I'm going to figure it out right now. That's a 14%. Let me just say. That is a 14% absent rate. That absent rate, if it were to occur in a workplace, and we're all going to be going to work, right? Unless we're independently wealthy, we all have to find a way to make a living. Absences in the workplace are, unless there are extenuating circumstances or a true emergency, are oftentimes grounds for a disciplinary report, possibly a reduction in position, and also possibly, if it continues without being addressed, can also result in loss of a job. Okay, if you're attending an officially sanctioned college event, which is probably not very likely in this semester, given that, but if it should occur, please make sure that you follow the college policy. You are all going to be in groups of 6 to start, and it may change over the semester. A, B, C, D, or E. You've already done an assignment that calls for you to identify who's in your group and to send them an email. Zoom class meeting requirements. I do ask that, as you know, that your video camera remain on during attendance so that I can see who you are. I will preset your microphone to be off. You can unmute yourself, if I call on you, or if you have a question in class. I do call on students in class, and I do that to make sure everybody's engaged and connected and participating. If you always have the option to pass, so just let me know you are passing by. If you are in class, just say pass. If you are online, please turn your microphone on and say pass. There won't be any repercussion for that, so long as it doesn't happen frequently and continuously. If there are concerns that you have about being called on class, I'm more than happy to discuss those with you individually. Please send me an email and we'll set up an appointment to talk about it. Class discussions will be important. That's how you will learn. Each group will be presenting their case exercise homework. We'll talk about whether students agree or disagree, would they have done it another way. What's important in this class is I certainly recognize we all have personal views. about everything, basically, and experiences that shape our identities, our perspectives, and certainly our opinions. But in this class, we are based upon evidence-based or argument-based supporting evidence for the positions that we take. You can't simply say, well, that's the right thing to do, or I think that's what I think should happen. If the question isn't framed to you as what do you think should happen, but more likely in this class, the question is framed, is it a crime? What crime is it? How would you prove it? What problems do you think would arise if you were the defense attorney? What would you argue? Those are not opinion questions. They are questions that require you to understand the facts of the case, understand the law that has been given to you in your textbook, and requires you, if I ask you to assume the role of a prosecutor or a defense attorney or a judge or a probation or parole officer. Each one of those players in the criminal justice system have a different role to play. The prosecutor is an adversarial. It's an adversarial system, two sides. Every criminal case is the government versus generally an individual. The government is represented by a prosecutor. Each individual who's charged with a crime, whether it's a federal crime or a state crime, is entitled, with limited exceptions, to court-appointed counsel if they cannot afford one. And so the prosecutor and the defense attorneys are on two different sides. They have different roles and responsibilities, and that's part of what we call the adversarial system. The judge is supposed to be neutral, and probation and parole officers have a different role than the prosecutor and the defense attorney. They too are taking a position that is not based upon an adversarial relationship. So I will remind you, I will keep saying to you, if you give me information in class or on a case exercise in homework or in the independently graded case exercises, then it is going to require that you explain your reasons and document your sources, which is going to be the textbook and the materials that are cited in the textbook. The final grading scale, as I've already mentioned, is okay, back to required materials in the course. There is a criminal law and criminal procedure glossary, which is located in Canvas in the course resources module. This is a course that has a lot of new terms and words that are important to be able to understand, and therefore you need to have your computer with you and able to access the glossary. The case exercises, exam questions, all will require, and homework, all require to use the correct terminology and follow the definitions that are provided in the glossary. The class format in this course is some lecture, homework completed outside of class, in-class discussions, and group breakouts. Coming to class prepared is going to be really critical, and that's why I do assign homework to make sure that to the extent possible everyone comes ready to engage in the work that we're going to do together in class. I have mentioned the importance of career readiness, and part of that is professional decorum, how you conduct yourself in this class. Attendance, preparation, engagement, respect, responsibility, and refraining, not using technology for non-class purposes, are all part of career readiness skills. And again, I am looking to model for you the expectations you will encounter in a professional workplace when you become new criminal justice professionals or whatever career that you choose. So please make sure that you are aware of what I'm asking, that you understand why I'm asking you. So career readiness and professional decorum includes coming to class on time, remotely or in person, staying for the class period, coming prepared, having read the textbook or other assigned readings, bringing your completed homework assignments to class, taking class notes, asking relevant questions, answering questions when asked, contributing to class discussions, and a willingness to meet with me to address any concerns or issues regarding the course that I might call to your attention. Demonstrating an ability to accept responsibility where appropriate for attitudes, conduct, or behavior, and work product, the quality of your work in this course. Demonstrating an understanding and a willingness to appropriately respond to constructive criticism, feedback. Just like a coach on the field gives the players feedback about positions, techniques, conditioning, nutrition, all kinds of information that a coach would give to a member of the team. I am always amazed that students who are members of athletic teams, whether it's soccer, lacrosse, football, basketball, tennis, golf, whatever it happens to be, they're accustomed to constructive criticism, feedback about how that player can improve for him or herself, and also for the benefit of the team. Students take that, or student athletes take that feedback pretty well. They, for some reason, don't take it so well when that feedback is provided in an academic setting. So I hope that you will be accepting of the constructive feedback that I give you. It's all designed to help you become the strongest student you can be. Communication guidelines. What should you call me? Please address me as Professor Couture in face-to-face, written, and digital communications. Inclusivity and gendered pronoun preferences are respected. If you have a specific pronoun that you would like me to use and the class to use when addressing you, I welcome you to share that with me. Canvas is going to be, this is under the communication guidelines. Canvas is our means of communication. Announcements will be there. You will also get emails sent to you. Those will go to your Curry email account, and I only answer Curry emails. I do not answer individual emails, and I don't answer, please do not use the email function within Canvas. Use the Curry email. That's the best way for me to be able to keep track of who I've been in touch with, what I've told them, and how to follow up if I need to. So please use only your Curry email account. When you email me, please include the course name and the section number in the subject line. Be professional. Hey, Prof. Yo. What's up? How you doing? Those are not professional ways to address an email. And again, this is to model career readiness behavior. Please, in your email, address me as Professor Couture, not hey you or yo. Include your full name at the end of the email. If you just sign it Mike, I'm not really sure which Mike you might be. So please make sure that you follow those email policies. Class cancellation, if there is one, there will be a makeup assignment. I will tell you that in 20 plus years of teaching college, I've canceled class that I can remember maybe twice. So do not expect that to happen. If school is delayed or canceled because of snow, we'll hold class online. The classroom recording policy, please make sure that you're familiar with that. Please make sure you back up your work so that that's part of professional preparedness. You need to have either a external hard drive or somewhere on your laptop hard drive or a UBS port stick or something that you keep your work on so that if things go awry, it can be found. Okay. All right. In Canvas, there are a number of specific policies and tips. I have posted in Canvas under the course tips for success and expectations that there are success strategies for an online course, or in this class, which is a high flex course. There are certain responsibilities, yours and mine. I have my responsibility and you have yours. Please make sure that you understand that and let me know if you have questions. There are a dozen tips for success in this course, and they're not rocket science, but they're a pretty good recipe for success. I do encourage you to take notes. People who do take notes, particularly handwritten notes, but also typed notes, are have been shown in repeated studies to retain information, understand information, and be able to utilize information to a greater degree than individuals who did not. The Building Career Readiness Skills is posted in that section of Canvas. I will talk a little bit in class about the importance of writing skills in criminal justice. The reason that I require that all your submitted work for grading be proofread and run through Grammarly is quite simply to establish. So there are a number of policies and tips and guidelines that I encourage you to make sure that you read and have a fair understanding of. If you need help, if you want to discuss anything, I'm here to do that, and please let me know. The last piece, or the second half of the syllabus, is really the course schedule. The course schedule is also available to you as a separate document identical to the combined document that we're looking at here. That separate document is on Canvas in the left-hand navigation bar, title syllabus. And here's how the syllabus works. The date that we're meeting is in the far left column. What we're going to cover is in the middle column. And anything that is due, that's graded, is in the right-hand column in red. But due every single class is an expectation that you will have read the assigned textbook material and all case exercises and discussion and review activities within those pages, that you'll view all listed videos, which are hyperlinked in the chapter, but also hyperlinked here below, and that you will bring a print or electronic copy of the textbook. You are strongly encouraged to bring a laptop or a tablet to class so that you can access other information that will be important to the class meeting. Bring either paper or electronic copy of the day's homework, and be prepared to engage in class discussion, reading, viewing, by reading, viewing case exercises, and discussion and review activities. So looking forward a little bit, let's look for Thursday, February 11th. What's due on Thursday, February 11th? The textbook reading is here. There's one video to view. You're given specific instructions. You do not need to view the entire video. Let's see, there's a second video to view. There's a homework assignment, 2 homework assignments. And those homework assignments are described here. I'm going to take you to the Canvas the Canvas site to show you where and how to access that homework. When there is an exam, the exam always appears on the course schedule in yellow highlighted. You will note that the exam due date and time is not a time that we're scheduled to meet for class. Anything that's in this showing with this salmon color background is an administrative notification about course add drop, deadlines, and the like. And what else might you encounter here? Let's see. So on it goes with each class meeting by date, by chapter, by what we're going to cover, what you need to do, and homework, viewing, and any other assignments that are due that class. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to take us over to the Canvas course so that you can see by chapter where homework and other graded activities are located and how to go about accessing them and submitting your assignments. When you open your Canvas site, you will see this landing page. Any announcements will be appearing at the top. We are going to go to modules. The Canvas site is organized by sections that appear with spaces in between. So the first section is Zoom class meetings and office hours. You can join any class meeting or office hour by clicking on this link and then following the instructions that are there. Starting material for this class, which you hopefully have already availed yourself of, but if not, you will do so now, are here a number of videos, an introduction of me and a quick look at the class, an introduction,